What's up, Ranger Nation? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for Power Rangers Dino Fury, episode number 10, Losers Weepers. Alright, guys, so before we get into this review, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and are not subscribed, do me that favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications, and share the video. And you guys, I know I said I'm gonna, so I don't know if I'm gonna go see Doctor Strange tonight or tomorrow or next week. But I will be putting up a spoiler-free review whenever I do see it. So if it's not up tonight or tomorrow, then you guys will see it next weekend. But that's out. Now that all is out of the way, let's get into this episode, shall we? All right, guys. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I watched this episode twice, and both times I was bored out of my mind with this episode because this episode just was not that good. It was horrible. So if you're a Dino Fury stan and you love everything Dino Fury, you're not gonna like this review because I just didn't find this episode fun or interesting, right? It actually was a filler episode, to be quite honest with you. This was a filler because it had nothing to do with the story. But hey, it is what it is. So we open up the episode and we see Izzy and we see Ion, right? So they're on their bikes and they're racing, right? So at one point, Izzy's bike got rammed by Ion's bike. Ion told her it was an accident, right? But she feels that he was cheating, right? So she got knocked off the trail, and then they pull up. She got knocked off the trail right in front of this truck that has Area 62 on it. So Ion asks her, "What is Area 62?" So she tells him what Area 62 is, right? So then they find like these briefcases, right? And so he's like, "Oh, we found something." She says, "We." As the age-old saying goes, finders keepers, losers weepers, right? So she opens up the briefcase. In her briefcase, there's a big dog collar, so she throws it. So then Ion, he finds a briefcase, right? He opens his briefcase and kind of like, what's that? What was the name of that? The game show with the briefcases where they would open it when it had the money in it. Well, he opened his briefcase and it got money. She's like, "Oh, we got some money." He's like, "We? Didn't you just say finders, keepers, losers, weepers? This is all mine." So they're back in the base, and Izzy and Ion, they're arguing with each other, right? She's mad because he's keeping the money. But like he said, you told him finders, keepers, losers, weepers. So it only applied to you, but not to him. Because she says, "Well, I was upset because you had ran my bike and you cheated." He says, "I told you before that was an accident, right?" So then they asked them, what did you find? She said, "I found a dog collar," right? Now, I did just forget to mention that when she threw that dog collar and they left, Mucus showed up, right? So Mucus, she got the dog collar, she put it on, and the dog collar makes her grow, right? That's interesting. I'm really fascinated. Now, I will say this. I hope going into the second half of the season, because we need more explanations about Area 62. Like, what is Area 62? Like, we need an explanation about that. We need a little bit more of an explanation about Void Knight, right? We know from last week's episode that Void Knight found the armor, but where did he find it? Like, there are a lot of unanswered questions that we need answers to. But Mucus, she grew, then she shrunk, right? So she took the dog collar and she's going back to Area 62 where Void Queen is, right? So when Izzy and Ion, like I said, they got into a heated argument with each other, Ion was like, "You know what? I'm going to go shopping to make myself feel better." So that's what he did. He went on a shopping spree. So I'm going to pause here and I'm going to move forward. So Mucus, she returns with the dog collar to present it to, I was about to say Madame Noir, to Void Queen, right? So when she gave it to, so Void Queen called on a sports, I think her name is Flagnarok. So Void Queen wants Flagnarok to take the collar because it'll instantly make her grow, because Mucus told her about it, right? And Mucus was like, "But it's mine. Finders, keepers, losers, weepers, right?" I keep wanting to say Madame Noir. Void Queen zapped her ass and took it and gave it to Flagnarok, right? So we see Flagnarok. She's in the city. She's gigantic, right? And they're like, "Wow, how did she get so big already," right? So they call for Ion. Like I said, Ion, he's out in the city. Now the stuff that he's buying is very ugly. That jacket he had on, ugh, ugly as hell. So the Rangers, they go to where Ragnarok is, right? And she blasts at them, right? But then they morph and they call on the Zords. So they call on all their Zords. They call on the three primary Zords. Zato Zord, Ali Zord, and Amelia Zord. And then they call on the other Zord, the latest Zord that they got. I forgot what the name of that Zord is, right? So they battle with it. They battle with Ragnarok and the individual Zords, but then they eventually combine the Ultra Zord, right? So when they combine the Ultra Zord, Ragnarok, she's way too. Now it's kind of interesting, right? They've defeated her. They defeated her brother, right? And I was kind of confused. Like, how are they having such a difficult time fighting Ragnarok just because she has this collar on? I know the collar made her grow, but is the collar also making her stronger? That was a question that I had. Like, is this collar making her stronger? So they're battling with her. So then eventually Ragnarok shrunk, right? So the Rangers are trying to get the collar from her because it has no power. But she calls on the henchmen, and the henchmen are stopping the Rangers at every step, right? So the Rangers really can't get to Ragnarok, right? So they say that they know that in order for them to beat Ragnarok, they have to come up with something new, right? So we see the Rangers. So they go back to the base, and we see Ragnarok. She went back to Area 62. So I'm gonna pause right here, and we're gonna move forward. So Ragnarok, she's back at the base, right? Void Queen, like I said in her previous episode, she definitely does give Queen Banshira vibes, right? Because Mucus them are terrified of Void Queen, right? Because Void Queen, and it's like, lady, you can't do things yourself, right? Because she tells Mucus to charge up the collar, right? And Mucus like, and she has her finger ready to zap her. Mucus like, you know what? I'll do it. I'm kind of ready to, because there's going to be a downfall to Void Queen, right? It's eventually going to come that there's going to be a downfall to Void Queen, right? And I'm actually kind of curious to see how it's going to play out. So then we see Ion, right? So Ion, remember I told you he went into the city and he went on his shopping spree, right? So then he sees Pop Pop. Pop Pop comes up and talks to him. He's complimenting his jacket, right? So at this point now, Ion is like, him doing all that shopping, he thought it would help him with his situation with Izzy, but it hasn't really helped him, right? He still feels the exact same way that he felt earlier, right? So he's having that conversation with Pop Pop. And in this conversation with Pop Pop, he comes to the realization that, hey, these material items, they didn't really make me feel any better than I already didn't, right? So he gives Pop Pop that ugly jacket he has on, right? And then all the other items that he has, he gives it to random strangers, right? He has a skateboard, he gave it to a kid. He had a tablet, he has some headphones. I was like, did you not get a receipt because he paid cash money for everything that he got, right? So I'm like, you didn't keep a receipt? Like, I would literally go back to every department store that I went to and got all my money back, right? Because that briefcase was full of money. And even all the stuff that he bought, you know what it is. Excuse me, y'all. So then we see Solon, right? So the Rangers, they're in the base, right? So they're trying to come up with something new that'll help them to defeat Ragnarok, right? So Solon suggested she suggests to them the Primal Ultrazord, right? So what the Primal Ultrazord does, it consists of the Mosa Razor Zord, Zato Zord, the T-Rex Champion Zord, and the newest Zord that they got, which I keep forgetting the name of that damn Zord. But it consists of those, right? But Zato was like, I don't think we should do that, right? And they were like, can you fill us in on what's going on, right? So Zato tells them that the Primal Ultrazord, they use that Zord in the final battle, when they first came to Earth to defeat the Sporus, right? But the Zord was unstable at that time. And he and Zato and Ion were the only two of their original team that survived that, right? And that's still where that's still where I have a lot of questions about the original team, right? I just question that. And I hope we get answers to that, because it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, right? Here's my first question. If the Zord imploded years ago, how are the Zords still around? If the other teammates were destroyed in that blast, why are the Zords still around? Wouldn't everything have gotten destroyed, right? And then Zato and Ion, they're still alive, right? So how are Zato and Ion still alive, but their teammates are not? And the Zords are still intact. I just have a question about that. And then, like I said earlier, I don't know if I said it this season or if I said it last season, right? With the original Rangers, their powers. How did their powers, like, especially in episode 1 of season 1, Ollie and Amelia were in the base, and the Chroma Fury Sabers were there in the base, and Solon had the keys for them, right? So how did she get them if the original Rangers were morphed in the final battle, but they were destroyed, right? Like, there are a lot of questions. There are a lot of holes in some of the storylines that I just hope they tighten up and explain it in the second half of the season, right? But they come to the conclusion that they're going to, they're going to reroute some of the wiring in Zato's Zord as well as the new Zord that they have, right? So that way they won't have the same thing happen that happened to Zato and his team years ago, right? So they also need Ion's key, right? So that they can, so Solon can scan his key. So they're still trying to reach Ion, but he doesn't have his comm on. So Izzy goes to find him. She finds him. They go back to the base. He gives them the key. Solon scans it. They go into battle with Flagnarok. The Primal Ultra Zord is badass, right? I loved the Primal Ultra Zord. And they ended up defeating Flagnarok. They defeated Flagnarok, and then, that's pretty much the end of the episode. At the end of the episode, Ion gave away all his stuff, but the one thing he was able to do is get Izzy a brand new bike. And that's the end of the episode, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications so that you guys are notified when I drop anything else. Share the video, and until the next time, Ranger Nation, stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, be blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. So I know for sure we'll see each other next week for a brand new episode review of Dawn Brothers. And you guys will see me, if not tonight or tomorrow, you will see me next week for my spoiler-free review of Doctor Strange. But until then, bye guys. Stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, be blessed, and I'll see you guys later.